guys, what's up with Kicking It Again? And I have one of my really dear friends. Oh my goodness, he's a screenwriter, he's an actor, he's a musician. Oh my God, he does it all just so much. And he's here to talk about really one of a really dear project that's on its way right here, and I'm even a part of it.
Yes, feels great. By the way, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for my dear friend Richard Rossi. What's up, man?
Hey, Phil. I told you this before, but the interview we did on my first novel, Stickman, is the favorite interview of people that follow me and stuff. Yeah, they always say he's the most charismatic interviewer, and they just love Phil. So when I told him I'm on Phil Bell's show again, they were like, oh my God!
Thank you for that, man. Thank you for that, man. You got a lot going on. You know, you're considered, you know, an Oscar or Academy Award-winning filmmaker, and with the Aimee Semple, you know, Sister Aimee McPherson Story, you know. And tell us a little bit about that. Just a little bit about
Yes.
you know, yeah.
Well,
you make it happen, brother.
Well, thank you. Sister Aimee, you know, I tell you, it was a miracle. In fact, Ron Howard's father, Rance Howard, was Aimee's father. Aimee Semple McPherson was this healing evangelist in the 20s. He said, that was a magic trick. He's like, you pulled that out of a hat with nothing. But it was like God just provided things we needed, you know. And so Sister Aimee, I made 2 films about her. Saving Sister Aimee, which was in the Academy Award competition. And then Sister Aimee was the second one. And then my second film I made was about Roberto Clemente. That's my favorite baseball player growing up. In fact, Ross Brown, who's going to be on your show, I think pretty soon, she plays the spiritual mother to Roberto Clemente in that film. And that was about 7 years ago. And this is the jacket from the new film that you're in.
We want to talk about that because it's trending and it's, you know, it's got a life of its own.
Yeah, this jacket, I don't know if you knew this, but it's selling in like 10 stores. They didn't ask my permission, by the way. Yeah. But they have my face and my name. And it's, if you Google Richard Rossi, Brother Billy jacket, it's like selling out at all the stores from little clips we put online where I'm jumping in the air in the jacket.
Wow.
And you know, people that know me are like, you need to be getting money from that. But I'm like, you know what? It's a guerrilla film. Yeah. My lawyer's like, you know, we could stop this. I was like, you know what? It's good buzz right now. Let's just let it be.
Just let it be.
Yeah.
Let it be.
They're talking about the film, right?
You know, because you do the films, you do the acting, and you're a musician as well. Tell us a little bit how you got involved. How did you start? How did you start when you were young? How did this happen?
Yes. Well, my father was a really great jazz guitarist. And he was really playing in Pittsburgh with like George Benson, who was also from Pittsburgh, a lot of great people in Pittsburgh. Then my dad had a mental illness, was bipolar, and he ended up in a mental hospital. So as a kid, I had to start playing gigs with him and occasionally play gigs when he was sick. You know, and so I was performing on stage at like 7 on guitar. And he was a great teacher. I learned a lot from him in terms of like, he would write jazz arrangements for me. But I was kind of forced, I don't want to say forced because I love doing it, but you know, one person who I got to be friends with and related to on one level was Michael Jackson, because he had to perform as a child, but yet it was a double-edged sword where there's like the abuse aspect of you messed up. So I went through a lot of that where I was out there playing, but God forbid if I messed up or lost the rhythm because of my dad's mental issues, he could be very abusive. So it was like a mixed bag, but it did get me out there, and then I started writing stories and wanted to get into filmmaking. And
how did that? How did it happen? It's just
you know what's the interesting thing? I was working as a minister at the time, and I had this idea because we were praying for the sick and for healing.
Yes.
So I was thinking like, let's make a film. I want to actually do a documentary to see is this working in film, like all these people were praying for, and see if the healing prayer is working.
Yeah.
And I did it just as like a church thing.
Yeah.
But then this director from India, Aimee Chaudhry, said, this film is really good. It's like, I wouldn't be interested in this kind of religious stuff normally, but the way you made this film is really, he's like, I think if you have an ability for this, if you ever come out to Los Angeles, look me up. And he lived on Mulholland Drive by Marlon Brando, Jack Nicholson, all these people. So I came out to LA, and he was encouraging me, like he mentored me with filmmaking. And then with Aimee Semple McPherson, I got interested in her because she had this healing ministry. And I started meeting people who knew her. I met her daughter, I met her co-pastor that worked with, all these people were like in their 90s, and they were telling me all these stories, and I was like, I just started shooting it, you know, just like the guys are shooting now, although they have much better cameras than I had. I had like a little cheap drugstore digital camera. I just started filming these older people that knew her, and I made the little documentary, and that got a lot of critical awards.
Wow.
And that just got me going. So I kind of learned by doing it. I mean, like, you know, people could knock me too. Like some people said, oh, his films are really cheaply made, which they were. I mean, you know, I made it for $5, but you know, it's like, you know, like one guy was really mean. He wrote a review and he said, okay, this is a good film, but it's like, yeah, Picasso drew in crayons. You'd still say it's a cheap crayon drawing. Like they took their digs because I made it cheap. Yeah. But I was learning by doing it, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
And people talking about it.
Yes, we got a lot of buzz on all the stuff. And then after the fact, I kind of went back, ass backwards, as they say. I was like, maybe I should learn some classes how to do this, even though I made a couple films. So I just went to Valley College, you know, and I did their little 2-year film degree, and but I felt like I learned in a different way than some of my other students, because I had all these experiences of making the film to relate what the teachers were saying back to. It's like, you know, when you go to a class but you've already tried it, it's different than like class, then let me try to go out and do it. Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's the mistake I made, you know.
Awesome. Yeah. So, and then are you planning on doing anything with Stickman as far as film?
Oh, it's funny you should ask. Yes, I want to make that as my next film.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm writing a sequel to it too, because Stickman was a coming-of-age novel where this guy growing up in a crazy home, kind of somewhat based on my youth, because his dad's this mentally ill jazz guitarist, and he falls in love with this girl and loses her. But I'm going to do a sequel of what happened to the main characters like years later. Yeah. So what I'm thinking is making the film like in 2 parts, the Stickman and then the sequel novel that I'm writing, which is called Naked and Not Ashamed. So yeah, Stickman is Stickman's helped people. Like there's teens that were suicidal that told me like that book like saved their life, because the main character in Stickman, Jeremiah, when he broke up with the girl, he was suicidal. He was going to jump off the Roberto Clemente bridge in Pittsburgh, and like it's like, because I'm honest about the angst of being a teenager. I hear from teens, you know, and stuff, like they love that book, you know, because they relate to it. Like the main character who's based on me is kind of a little weird, and he doesn't fit in, and so like the other kids kind of make fun of him, how he's like abnormal, and he always yells back, "Who wants to be a normie anyway?" Well, a bunch of these high school kids that love the book, they wanted to video chat with me. And when the video chat went on and I saw these high school kids, they had these shirts, "Who wants to be a normie anyways?" And they all yelled out, "Who wants to be a normie anyways?" So it made them feel cool, like the misfits, the Owlie, the misfit toys. Hey, we're not normal, but hey, you know what? Neither is Jeremiah and Stickman, so it's cool, you know?
That is cool.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So now your latest project, which I'm very excited about, is...
And you're so good in it. Oh my God, you're so good. I can't wait for people to see you in it also. Coming out really soon, Canaan Land. Yes.
So talk to us about it.
Well, Canaan Land, and the novel's out already on audiobook and paperback and Kindle. I play Brother Billy, who's a con artist, preacher, and you can see the gold dust. He claims that he can call gold dust down from heaven, and the anointing of the gold dust will hit you. And I got this idea from a church. I found out this guy kind of repented to me and told me how he had faked this. Like he got gold glitter from the craft store and he put it in the HVAC system so it would blow around in the service. And he said, "There's anointing coming. I feel the Shekinah glory of God's about to come in this room." All of a sudden, this gold glitter starts coming in the room, and the people are like, "Oh my God," you know. But it was all like a fake, right? And people started flocking to this church, and I thought, oh my God, how can people be so dumb? Yeah. I'm sorry, that's mean to say, but so I thought, I want to do a story about it. So my character is just a fake, and he falls in love with this character, Sister Sarah, played by Rebecca Holden. She was a star of Knight Rider show, and Rebecca does great in this part, and she's a sincere Christian woman. And so I fall in love as Brother Billy with Sister Sarah, and as we start ministering together, when she realizes I'm just a fake, then she's like, "Oh my God, how did I get so fooled?" And she breaks up with me. I guess I'm giving a spoiler. But it's kind of my character's road to repentance, to really want to get faith for real. And it's a Christmas movie, so we want to hopefully get it done by Christmas. We're almost done. But my character at Christmas, he kneels down at a nativity, and he says, "You know, Jesus, I've just used you basically, but one gift I want for Christmas, if there's a way to get my faith back." So there is a redemptive thing where my character wants to see it, you know, if he can get the real deal.
Wow. Well, there's a lot of buzz going on about this.
Yeah, you're really good at it.
Oh,
Yeah, I love when I try to charm Rebecca. You're like her handler. Phil plays her protector, by the way. He's really good. It feels like wanting to keep this shyster away from her, you know, because you discern, like, you have to discern, like, this dude is, you know.
Oh, wow. Well, it was so much fun doing that. And
Yeah.
I'm just so glad to be a part of the project.
We're so lucky to have you, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, man. This is really exciting. And
Thank you.
Miss Rebecca, she is so, oh, wow, she's so sweet and so humble.
Yes.
Humble.
Yeah, she was really perfect for the part, and she is a very strong woman of faith, fortunately. I mean, as a director, I look for the best actors, so I'm not saying like you have to be a person of faith to play a person of faith. If you're a good actor, you could do it. But it was an extra bonus that she does have a strong faith and kind of understood the character so strongly, you know?
So what's happening next?
Well, we're finishing the final audio edits, and we're almost done, my editor, Richard Rossi, and I. It's a general entry in the Academy Awards right now. So if you Google like Canaan Land, Oscar, my name, Richard Rossi, there's like a ton of articles about the fact that like we're like this guerrilla, no-budget film that's in the Oscars. Now we're hoping we can stay in it and have it shot at a nomination, but there's different hoops we got to make.
Yeah.
So we got to get it totally finished by a certain date. We got to exhibit it so many days by a certain way. So there's still a few things that we're praying God provides everything we need.
That's
and
right.
doing our best. But we feel like almost like you know, David against Goliath, because a lot of the other films we're going against, like they have, you know, $10 million to promote it, and but you know, I'm really excited, and I hope it touches a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know? I hope it brings a lot of discussion too.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm very excited about it. Yay!
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Wow. What would you tell with somebody who's also interested in making films, but they're like, oh, I don't know, I'm a little scared, I don't know.
Yeah.
What would you do to just tell someone to be encouraged about being a filmmaker?
You know, there's a story in the Old Testament about Moses, and he has this stick, and he feels like he can't talk, and God calls him, and he says, get my brother Aaron, he's more eloquent. All I got is this stick, and God says, that shall be the rod of God. Like, to me, that's what for me, it was like, all I have was this cheap camera, like $300 digital camera, but it was like, you know, you use what you have, like, use what you have to make art. Don't wait for someone to greenlight you. A lot of people are like, oh, if I can get, you know, if I can get Jeff Bezos or Donald Trump or some rich guy to give me $1 billion, or if I can get this studio to blow, and I see them go decades and they don't do anything.
Yeah.
It's like greenlight yourself. Like you started doing your plays, your one-man play that was just amazing. You know, you're the same way. You're like, what they say, a DIY, do it yourself, right? It's like, just start making, now you can make on your phone, you can start shooting stuff, you know? Like some of the scenes in Canaan Land, we actually shot on a phone. Like we were stealing shots in places we didn't have permits. And we were shooting in the Grove when they break up. We were shooting in the Grove, and we got busted because we have the cameras in the Grove, and the police comes over, you can't shoot here, you don't have a permit. It was like $10,000 a permit. So I just said, we got a couple cell phones, right? You know, we finished a scene with her and I breaking up with the cell phones, and the scene is so powerful. It has this gritty feel. It almost made it better that we were shooting in the cell phones for that part of it.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you know what? We're gonna take a quick break, and I want you to come back and maybe you could do some music from the show.
Yes, I'll do the Canaan Land theme, which on YouTube you'll see Phil in it. If you go on YouTube and put Canaan Land theme. And movie theme, you'll see Phil and he's singing and rocking, and you're like, wait, oh what? You'll see Phil in the video.
I love it. We'll be right back.